Like the opinions of WBTK and staff, management, or sponsors.
Domestic violence, grief, sexual abuse, homelessness, drug addiction, promiscuity, hope for help, depression, business are just some of the subjects discussed today on Reclaiming My Life with the author of Amazon's #1 best-selling book, Reclaiming My Life. Here's television and radio host Claudia Massey.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Reclaiming My Life show. Look, I'm so excited. Look, it's a blessing to be here to see 2026. Look, y'all better put a praise on it. Put a praise on it. Yes, indeed. Look, y'all, today I have joining me in the studio. Y'all know I always have my guests come online because they're usually a big distance between us. But today I have the beautiful Whitney Brooks joining me in studio today. Whitney Brooks is the CEO, founder of Empower Her Publishing. So I'm excited. Look, we're going to talk about some things today. Whitney, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please, if you would, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Well, as you've already stated, I am Whitney Brooks, CEO and publisher at Empower Her Publishing, where I help women of influence to create authority-building, high-quality books to leverage their brands, increase their visibility, and, of course, their revenue.
All right. Now, look. Wow. You do all of that?
And do. And do.
I love it. I love it. Empower Her Publishing, you know, and I have to add, y'all, yes, she does. She does. And I'm just so grateful for you, Whitney, because let me tell you, when you talked about increasing the visibility, you know, my first book was through Empower Her Publishing. And of course, y'all, that book is Reclaiming My Life.
Yes.
Reclaiming My Life, that book changed my life.
Yes.
You know, and I had no idea that a book, you know, and a lot of people I've heard say this, a book changed their life, you know, by me writing the book. And, you know, it was a chain breaker for so many people.
Yes.
You know, until I had to keep coming back to you to say, Whitney, you know what? I need a volume 2. I need a volume 3 because so many people said the book inspired them to reclaim their lives.
Yes.
You know, and they then wanted to share their testimony of how they had overcome and reclaimed. And that's how really this radio show came about. My television show on Preach the Word Worldwide Network came about, Reclaiming My Life.
Yep.
Y'all, the power of a book.
Yes. Speak on it.
The power of a book. And the thing about it is you kept telling me, y'all, this is also my daughter. She kept saying, Ma, you need a book. You're doing all the things, but you need a book. And I'm thinking, why do I need a book? Thank you, Whitney.
You're welcome.
I needed a book.
You're welcome, baby.
Well, look, let me tell you, you know what? Last year, I believe it was, you, visionary author, because you're also an author, I don't know how many books.
7.
7-time bestseller author. Last year, I believe it was, you came out with Girl, Get Up. Talk to us about it.
You know, time flies because it was in 2023 when I really announced Girl, Get Up. And of course, you know, that book was inspired by my unfortunate diagnosis of lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And I knew I had to do something with that diagnosis, right? I couldn't just sit in it and mope around. I had to do something about it because that's just me. I got to do something.
Yes.
And so the book was a given, you know. The book was a given because I knew that I wasn't just going through lupus and rheumatoid arthritis just to go through. You know, it got to a point where I started encouraging myself, girl, get up.
Yes.
You know, get up and take care of your son. Get up and do your work. Get up and still figure out how to navigate life, even with these autoimmune diseases, right? And so I knew that it was more than about me, though. So that's why I made it a collaboration book. I have several other collaboration books as well. And obviously the purpose of a collaboration book is for people to come together and share in a similar topic.
Yes.
Right? Because while we may all experience certain things, our experiences are still different.
Yes.
And so I wanted to make this a collaboration book so that I could share the experiences of women who are battling autoimmune disease, chronic illness, and chronic pain.
Yes.
And so volume 1, I put out the call in 2023, just a few months after my diagnosis. And then volume 1 of the book was released in 2024.
Okay.
And so, of course, in 2025, I put out the call for volume 2. So we are diving into volume 2 now. I have had some amazing women to join me thus far in volume 2. We're still accepting co-authors for volume 2 because I know there are so many other powerful stories that need to be told about battling autoimmune disease and chronic pain. So if you are a woman who is battling, who is on the journey, who still gets up every day, holla at your girl. Because I want to help you share your story to inspire the next woman who is still struggling to get up every day.
Yes, thank you so much for that. You know what? You said so many powerful things in such a short time. You know, one, I want to piggyback on, you talked about the collaboration and the importance of collaborating. You know, I failed to mention with my book, Reclaiming My Life, you know, it was a collaboration book. And, you know, I do want to add, because somebody is thinking about writing that book or, you know, getting started with the book. You know, I love the collaboration, you know, when we come together and we're talking about, for my book, let me go back to Reclaiming My Life. For my book, you know, everybody was talking about a challenge, or trauma they experienced, right? How they overcame and reclaimed. And it was such a beautiful thing because, you know, a lot of times, y'all, again, this is Reclaiming My Life, and I feel good to talk about this today, the first show of the new year. When we're talking about these things, you know, just letting people know you're not alone. Right. You know, because I was fearful of writing the book, you know, sharing these challenges and trauma that I had experienced, right? But then the other women joined me and said, look, I have a testimony as well. That's right. You know, so not only that part of collaborating, but these women were in North Carolina, Texas, you know, and so forth, so many different states. Right. Until, you know, your story is not going to just reach your audience. That's right. It's reaching so many other people when you're collaborating in a book together. Yes. You know, and you got 10 authors or however many authors. Just think about, you know, the impact and how many people it can actually reach when you collaborate. Exactly. Yes. So, and also you talked about, the girl get up, right? You know, and the autoimmune diseases, right? And y'all, I just have to say, you know, I was a part of that book, right? You know, I want you to touch on a couple of, if you would, or either just one of your co-authors. Like you're saying, you have lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. You know, I think most of my listeners know, because I do share, that I have sickle cell and uveitis. And when we're talking about girl, get up, and listening to your testimony and how you had to encourage yourself, you know, and continue to encourage yourself daily. That's right. Okay, to get up. You know, how these women are successful women doing the things, you know, all the things, they're still getting up. You know, a lot of times people ask me, how do you do all the things with sickle cell? At one point, I was getting transfusions every month. And still moving and going and traveling and doing all the things. Many of you know that I've had countless eye surgeries, you know, but still doing all the things. If you would highlight one of your co-authors in the Girl Get Up Volume 1 book, you know, just to give our listeners an idea, you know, of these women, these powerful women. Of course. Well, obviously I can't just highlight one, but, you know, I admire every single one of them. I had 8 amazing, phenomenal women to join me in volume 1 of the book. And, you know, we really don't have the time for me to elaborate on all 8 of their stories. But I will say, you know, these women
a couple of them also were battling lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, chronic pain syndrome, overcame cancer, Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, chronic kidney disease, diabetes, PPD, you with sickle cell. The list goes on. These women were battling all types of autoimmune diseases, all types of chronic illnesses, but still their mothers, their wives, their business owners, they are church leaders, community leaders, they're running businesses. They're doing all the things, all the things that quote unquote normal people do.
Yes.
While still battling just the overwhelm of fighting against their own bodies every single day.
Wow.
When their bodies are saying, no, I can't do it, they're telling their own body, yes, we have to. You know, and still getting up and going to work and taking care of the kids and spouses and dealing with employees and co-workers and, you know, just doing all the things while still battling their own challenges. And so that's exactly why I started the movement, because it's more than a book. It's an entire movement. And I knew that this particular book had to be more than just a book. It had to be an entire movement. And so we expand far beyond the pages of the book. Now, the book, it's a good book now. Don't get me wrong. It's a great book, but it's an entire movement. And so I'm proud of the work that we've been able to do over the last couple of years.
Yes. I love that. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear you say, because, again, this is the first of the year. A lot of times when we're talking about challenges and trauma, a lot of times people go to abuse, you know, when they hear or how people trying to reclaiming from, you know, a marriage and abuse and things like that. But people are really struggling with their health.
Yes.
You know, so to hear you talk about these women, you know, and all of these autoimmune diseases or chronic illnesses and pain and how they still do all the things. I just really wanted you to highlight them. And I know that there are some women who are listening who are, you know, going through some of the same, you know, and that takes me to, you know, you said in the beginning that you're now on volume 2 of Girl Get Up, you know, and it's a call for co-authors. It's a call for co-authors. So I just want you to elaborate on that for a minute, if you would, this call for co-authors.
Of course. So essentially, again, this is a collaboration book. So the call for co-authors is for you to come and share your story in the book. And it doesn't have to be a full book. You just have a chapter, but it's still substantial. Substantial enough for you to make an impact in someone else's life. Someone needs to read your story. Because I always say, your story is about you, right? Like, yes, you are the one who are experiencing these challenges on a daily, but it's not for you. It's about you, but it's not for you. Someone else needs to be inspired by what you have to say, by your lived experience. And so I'm inviting more women to join me in volume 2 of Girl Get Up, an inspirational guide for women living with autoimmune disease, chronic illness, and pain. You will be invited to join us on this journey. And it's more than a book. We have several activities going on over the next couple of months. So yes, being a contributing author is one part of it, but there are several other things that are involved in the co-author project, which I'm very excited about.
Which takes me to talk to us about the walk.
Yes.
You said it's a whole movement. Come on now.
Yes. So when I initially founded the Girl Get Up movement, I decided to do a Girl Get Up walk. And of course, it was inspired by all the awareness walks that we already have, the lupus walk, the breast cancer walk, so on and so forth. But this Girl Get Up walk is all encompassing. There are no teams. You are coming to support one specific person. We're all coming together as a community to stand as a united front to tell these women, I see you, I support you, I celebrate you, and we take a walk around the block. All right, because let's be real, baby. Let's be real, okay? The knees be popping, the ankles be hurting, the feet. Listen, I ain't got the time. But listen, we take a walk around the block as a symbolism of our support, right? But it's more than a walk, because the walk is just a small portion of the festivities of the day. So we are approaching our 3rd annual walk.
Yes.
But we have 2 DJs, one inside and one outside. I've had some people in the past say, yeah, I can't really do outside, or I'm going to need to sit down. Listen, you can come inside and have a seat, okay? We have chair fitness, because we understand that people who are battling chronic illness often can't do the exercises standing up. So we have chair fitness, but for those who can still get down on their feet, we have line dancing as well. We have free health screenings for the community. We have activities for the kids like bouncy house. Listen, we're going to have popcorn, cotton candy, like I said, the 2 DJs, and then we do the walk as well. We have vendors, so vendor registration is currently open. I have not announced it to the public yet. This is my first time announcing it to the public.
Reclaiming My Life show. Come
yes, the email list got first dibs on vendor spots, but I am opening up vendor spots to the public as of today. So you heard it here first. So yes, we have local business owners to come and join us as vendors as well, so you can do some shopping. So it's a whole vibe. I like to say it's a big family reunion, honestly.
Yes.
And I just love how the community shows up. Our very first walk, we had over 100 people registered.
Yes.
And you know, this year I really want 300 people there. That's what I'm aiming for.
Y'all put it in chat. Who coming?
Yes,
Who coming?
yes.
Let them know. When is the date?
April 11th. Okay. It is April 11th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Peter Paul Development Center. We've had it there the past 2 years. It's an amazing space. It's perfect to do the walk. It's in the heart of the city, because we understand that chronic illness mostly affects our community. And so we want to have it in the city so the community can come out and be supported.
Yes, that's awesome. Did y'all hear that? That is awesome.
Thank
Look,
you.
congratulations, because like you said, this has only been a couple of years now, and you are doing so much with the Girl Get Up movement, the walk and all. Y'all, she said April the 11th. Y'all go ahead and mark your calendars. If you want to be a vendor, y'all better reach out to her today. And let me tell you, look, Reclaiming My Life going to be in the place. I'm going to be in the place. I'm going to be a vendor, y'all. So y'all go ahead and reach out. She's going to let you know all of that before we end. But also, look, I got to throw this in, y'all. She said it's going to be bouncy house and several bouncy houses, okay? Popcorn and all the things, y'all. So I'm going to shout out May's Place, okay? My daughter, Zandra Yacovella, she just started May's Place. It's a bouncy house, and what would you call it, Whitney?
Kids play,
all the things, okay? All the things. The bouncy house, the popcorn, the cotton candy, the water stuff all day. So y'all reach out to May's Place, MAE_S, May's Place, for all those things, okay?
Yes.
Let me put that in
Shameless
there.
plug.
Yes. So look, now Whitney, before we go now, okay, it's a new year. So are there any New Year specials or projects that you're doing that, the people can know about and say, Whitney, hey, wait a minute, it's the new year, Christmas just, passed. I'm really into what you said.
Okay. Well, yes, of course. I'm really excited about the new year, and I'm really excited about the direction that Empower Her Publishing is going, and obviously about the Girl Get Up movement as well. But years ago, when I started Empower Her Publishing, it was from a place of really wanting to create greater impact for my clients. I was a freelance editor for 5 years, and I recognized the need for publishing assistance. And while I did not have the expertise then, I wanted to figure it out. And so I wanted to figure it out, not for myself, but for my clients who had so many questions about how to get their work out, how to become a published author. Yes. Okay. How to become a published author.
Yes. Look, for those of you who are not on Facebook Live on our page, she had to throw that yes in, because our engineer, he is off the chain. On the Facebook page, he done pulled up her page, her info, and all the things, y'all.
Appreciate that. And so I wanted to really create more impact for my clients. Editing, I love transforming words. That's what I do. But I I began working with so many clients who kept saying, well, I love my manuscript. You've done such a fantastic job. Now, how do I get it published? And I had to keep saying, I don't know. I'm just your editor. And so it got to a point where I said, the next client who asks me, how do I get my book published? I'm going to have the answers. Because they had developed such a huge level of trust in me. I wanted to be able to offer them that guidance that they were seeking. And so I said, can't be that hard. You know, I'm going to figure it out. And I did. And of course, I had to be my first client, right? So I published my first book in 2021. Walk into it, 7 steps to develop confidence as an emerging entrepreneur, really teaching women how to start and grow successful businesses. And so when I got to that point where I published my book and I was like, I did it, you know, I put it out there and I've been publishing books for other people ever since. But I recognize we're in a new year, right? We're in a new year, time to take things up a notch. There are still some people who are on the struggle bus, but also we're in the age where we're really embracing the do-it-yourself era, okay? And so people are wanting to figure out how to get it done. And if they can't necessarily put your services in their budget, they still want to be able to share their story. And so I'm so excited that for the first time ever in the history of Empower Her Publishing, I am offering a free course on how to self-publish a book, okay? Absolutely free, step-by-step guidance on how to self-publish your book. I will be releasing the details.
That's awesome.
Tomorrow, I'm posting the details tomorrow. Spots will be very, very limited for this absolutely free course. But if you are serious about publishing your book in the new year, you need to be in the room. So make sure you're following me so you can get the details on how to register for this absolutely free course. 2026 is your year to become a published author.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome because I know a lot of people are interested, you know, in learning how to self-publish, you know, and you don't find a lot of publishers who are willing, you know, to teach others how to publish their own books. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Now, let me ask this question before I let you go, Miss Whitney. I know we got some men listening, and they're probably saying, well, I know she said, you know, that she published for women. So do you publish for men? They said, what about the men?
Yes, yes, of course. I have published for men. I do not specifically target men. And listen, that's because we, as a business owner, right, you have to know who your ideal client is, all right? And so I stay in my lane. I don't discriminate, you know, when men are attracted to my brand. I've had my first 2 male clients in this past year, and it was such a pleasure to publish for them. They have fantastic books, but I know who my ideal client is, and that is women entrepreneurs. And so, yes, if a man is attracted to my brand, they recognize you're the one I need to publish my book. We do have a conversation. I do offer limited spots for men, but specifically I target women entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for answering that.
Of course.
Do you have any final words you would like to leave for our listeners today?
Listen, just as I said before, your story is about you, but it's not for you. So it's time for you to release that story this year. 2026 is your year to become a published author. And if you are serious about growing your brand, about impacting more people, about increasing your visibility, about establishing authority in your industry, that is what a book is for.
Yes.
So I would love to have a conversation with you about what it looks like to take the next steps to get started on your author journey.
And how can they connect with you?
Of course, I can be reached online at Empower Her Publishing, Facebook, Instagram, and empowerherpublishing.com as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Look, y'all, your story is about you, but it is not for you. So release it, inspire others, and motivate others, you know, through what you've been through or what you're doing. And I'm going to leave you all with this, you know, as we talk about visibility and, you know, your brand, you all, if you all want to do that, because look, I got a lot of people right now who are reaching out and emailing me, and some of you are even getting a little upset, and I'm so sorry. But you're wanting to get on the show, and of course, I will respond in time. But the main thing most people want is to get their brand in front of people. So if you want to do that, definitely send me an email at hello@claudiamassey.com. Let's talk about how you can get a commercial, whether that's on TV, on radio. We can talk about that. And that way, if I can't get you in for an interview, you still have that visibility. Okay. Miss Whitney, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Reclaiming My Life. Look, y'all, I'm excited about this new year. Y'all go ahead. It's the beginning of the year. Invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. We so often invest in other people, trying to support other people's ideas, other people's projects. It's time to invest in yourself, and let me tell you, like I said, my book, it changed my life. So if you feel that a book can change your life, y'all go ahead and contact Miss Whitney L. Brooks of Empower Her Publishing at empowerherpublishing.com. All right, y'all. Until next time, y'all be blessed. I love y'all so much. And remember, whatever you're going through, God got you. You can reclaim your life.
You have just heard Reclaiming My Life with life coach and author Claudia Massey. To get your copy of Amazon's #1 best-selling book, Reclaiming My Life, visit www.contactclaudiamassey.com and tune in each Monday at 12 noon for Reclaiming My Life with television and radio host Claudia Massey on WBTK 1380.